Da Vinci and Raphael by Kelsey Bibler. Table of Contents. Early life, a closer look, famous work, why they were rivals, and works cited page. The early life. Da Vinci was born April 15, 1452. The place he was born was Vinci, Italy. His parents were Piero da Vinci and Caterina da Vinci. Raphael was born April 6, 1483. The place he was born was Urbino, Italy. His parents were Giovanni Santi and Maggie di Bastilla di Nicora Carla. A closer look into Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo was born to unwed parents, which back then was called illegitimate. We don't know much about his childhood because not much has been documented, but in 1478 he decided to open up his own studio in Florence. He was paid by a church to make this painting that is unfinished, that is called the Adoration of the Magi. He then moved to Rome in 1513, where he lived till he died. He was a very honored and respected man during that time. A closer look into Raphael. Raphael's father was a painter, so it was in the blood, and he taught his son how to paint. He also taught Da Vinci principles of philosophy at the Duke of Urbino's court. In 1494, Raphael's father died. Raphael then decided that he was going to task the managing of his father's workshop. Raphael brought his own uniqueness to the table of anything that he painted or sculpted. As a teen, he was commissioned to paint the church for the church of San Nicora in the neighboring town of Castello. In 1500, he was a master painter named Pietro Benassi, otherwise known as Perugino, invited Raphael to become his apprentice in Perugino. Raphael moved to Florence, where he found to be influenced by Michelangelo and Da Vinci. And he also moved to Rome to paint some paintings that became famous pieces. Famous pieces by Da Vinci. One of them is the Mona Lisa, which is an oil-based painting on cottonwood. It's the most famous painting of all time, and it's a mystery because not everyone knows who Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa of. Another famous piece is the Last Supper, and that represents Jesus and his disciples when Jesus reveals to them that someone will betray him. The painting is later reconstructed because Da Vinci painted it with oil on a dry wall. Another piece is the Vitruvian Man, and that depicts a man in two positions with a square and a circle. And it's not permanently displayed in the museum that it's in. Another one of his is the Lady with an Ermine, and that is identified as Cecilia Gallerini, which is a mistress of Serfanza, and that's an oil-based painting on a wood panel. And one of the other pieces, which is the self-portrait of red chalk, and that is a portrait of himself, which some people don't believe that it is and some people do. It's on red chalk on paper, and it was drawn around 1512 when Da Vinci was about 60 years old. Famous pieces by Raphael. One of them is the St. George fighting the dragon. The painting depicts well-known legends slaying a dragon. Most popular in the museum it is placed in. Another one is the Ladonna Velata. Highlights Raphael's ability to paint with perfection. Shows you're staring at a person rather than a painting, and he paid really close attention to detail. Another one is the Triumph of Galata, and this is a misfortune of a woman marrying a jealous one-eyed giant who kills peasants rather than the story. Raphael decided he was just going to paint the scene. And another one is the Transfiguration. This is the last painting Raphael created. It's divided into two parts, and it also depicts the contrast between God and man. And the last one I picked is the School of Athens, one of the four main frescoes on the wall, and it also depicts philosophy, poetry, law, and theology. Why they were rivals. They both had such great pieces and ideas to bring to the world of art. They were competitors, and that is where the rivalry came from. They rarely, if at all, attended the same event. This is the first time they have ever worked together, and we will not see this happening anymore. They just brought so much to the table that they had no other choice than to be rivals in the world of art.